The unemployment rate for Black men in America is consistently about twice the rate of white men. And yet, the majority of Black men in America are working. They are building careers, supporting families, starting businesses, contributing to the economy every single day. So, how do both of those things exist at the same time? And what does the unemployment rate actually tell us? In our last episode, we looked at education. We talked about graduation rates, college enrollment, trade schools, HBCUs, and the gap between starting a degree and finishing one. Education creates opportunities, but education and opportunity are not the same thing. The next question becomes, how does what Black men learn translate into how they work? And what does work actually look like in their lives? According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, approximately 2/3 of Black men participate in the labor force. That includes people who are employed as well as those actively seeking employment. Like all demographic groups, labor force participation rises and falls with economic conditions. The unemployment rate for Black men has historically remained higher than the unemployment rate for white men. Depending on economic conditions, it often falls somewhere between 5 and 10% and has remained consistently elevated across multiple economic cycles. Black men are represented throughout every sector of the economy: healthcare, technology, education, transportation, construction, manufacturing, public service, logistics, and skilled trades. Workforce trends show continued growth in healthcare, technology, logistics, and construction, while employment in traditional manufacturing has declined over time. Remote work has created new opportunities for some workers while also highlighting disparities in access to technology, broadband internet, and occupations that can be performed from home. Skilled trades continue to play an important role. Electricians, plumbers, HVAC technicians, welders, construction managers. Many of these careers provide strong wages, benefits, and long term stability without requiring a 4-year degree. Career mobility tells another part of the story. Black men with college degrees generally earn more than those without them. However, data continues to show earnings gaps between Black and white men with comparable educational credentials. Researchers point to factors such as occupational segregation, hiring practices, professional networks, promotion opportunities, and sponsorship as contributing influences. The fastest growing industries tell us where future opportunities may exist: healthcare, software development, logistics and supply chain management, renewable energy. Technology training programs and coding boot camps have also expanded alternative pathways into higher paying careers. So, what do these numbers tell us? The first thing they tell us is that unemployment is only one part of the story. The unemployment rate matters. It affects families, communities, economic stability, and long term opportunity. But it does not describe most Black men. Most Black men are employed, most are working, most are contributing to the economy every day. The unemployment rate only measures people who are actively looking for work and unable to find it. It does not capture the full reality of employment, underemployment, self employment, multiple jobs, informal work, or economic contribution more broadly. The wage gap may actually be the more revealing statistic. Even when educational attainment is similar, Black men often earn less than white men with comparable credentials. That suggests the conversation extends beyond education. It raises questions about hiring, promotion, access, networks, opportunity, and the structures through which careers are built. The fastest growing industries tell a more hopeful story. Black men are entering fields such as healthcare, technology, logistics, and renewable energy in increasing numbers. The question is not simply whether opportunities exist. The question is whether those opportunities translate into long-term advancement, stability, and mobility. But here is what the numbers cannot tell you. They cannot tell you about the Black man working 2 jobs because he is determined that his children will have opportunities he never had. They cannot tell you about the veteran who returned home from military service, spent years navigating bureaucracy, and eventually became a project manager building toward business ownership. They cannot tell you about the men working in the informal economy. The man repairing cars in his neighborhood, the man cutting grass, the man moving furniture, the man fixing appliances, the man watching children after school so parents can work, work that is real, work that supports families, work that often never appears in labor force reports. They cannot tell you about the black man who left a corporate position because the salary was not worth the cost to his health, relationships, or sense of purpose. The unemployment rate measures a specific thing. It does not measure drive. It does not measure perseverance. It does not measure hustle. And it certainly does not measure ambition. Meaningful work is not always the same thing as formal employment. And formal employment is not always the same thing as economic mobility. There is often a significant gap between what unemployment statistics suggest and the reality of millions of men who are actively working, building, providing, and participating in the economy in ways that official reports may never fully capture. Before we continue, I want to leave you with a question. How should we define meaningful work? Is it a job title, a salary, a sense of purpose, the ability to provide for the people you love? And when we measure employment, are we measuring economic contribution or are we measuring participation within one particular system? Employment is one path to economic mobility. Entrepreneurship is another. In our next episode, we look at Black men and entrepreneurship, business ownership, the creator economy, digital entrepreneurship, and the role that building something of your own plays in the larger story of economic independence. This series is designed to encourage understanding, not agreement. The statistics discussed in this episode and the sources used to obtain them are available below. If this conversation made you think differently about the topic, continue with episode 4 as we explore the next chapter in the story. Because understanding begins long before